This is Dollar Jr. on behalf of NTA Game Guides. I used to do quite a few videos for this channel, but it's been quite a while since I've done a video in general. But we are going to start with a Dark Souls Remastered Indiana Jones build walkthrough, which means no magic, no pyromancy, no miracles, no sorceries, and no shields. So it's going to be fists, whip, and crossbows only. It's been quite a fun build. I've done this several times on my Nintendo Switch, and I've had so many variations of this build, but we are going to have one other armor piece. We're going to have one little bit of armor called the spiked, or the thorned gauntlets that you get later on in the game. But let's go ahead and get started. Now for this build, I'm going to be starting out as the Wanderer. Reason being is that the Wanderer has 10 strength and 14 dex, and that's the only requirements I'm going to need for my weapons for the entire game. Of course, I'm going to upgrade them stats later, but much later. The only stats I'm going to upgrade in the early game is health only, vitality only, all the way, because I don't really need anything else, because most of my damage dealing is going to come from my crossbow early on. But later on, we will upgrade using strength and dex will be our main focus. Now, we are in the Undead Asylum. This is your basic tutorial level. But we are going to be coming back to this level to get some key items and to kill a boss later on. Now, I am not going to be getting all of the items in this game. This is not a 100% walkthrough. I will, however, be killing all of the bosses, including the DLC bosses. Now, for this first boss, you could fight him, but it would take forever with the broken sword, and we're not going to be benefiting from the weapon that he does drop, which is the Demon's Great Hammer, so we're just going to run past him. And we're not going to pick up any shields. That's the shield to the left. We're not going to worry about that. Our first thing is to get the scimitar here. Now, I am going to be using the scimitar early game, because I simply don't have my fist weapon yet, which I get from Andre later on, but we're going to get it pretty quick. So we're just going to head on to Oscar and get our flask and move on towards the boss. Now for this boulder, I'm sure you've been hit by it a million times. Just run past. Now you want to make sure you want to definitely remember to open that door there. It's going to save you some headache later on when you do return to this area. Now, I could kill him quickly, but I just don't have the heart, so we're going to trudge through the dialogue here. Charge this guy. Now, one thing about these hollows is they may look weak, but they can screw you up like piranhas hungry for a meal, man. They get gang up on you, and it's over before you know it, so don't ever take them lightly. Even when you're geared up, they can still surprise you, even when you are maxed out on all of your weapons. Just never take them for granted here. Now for the boss, he is a very easy boss. We're going to plunge attack him here, of course. Then I like to lock onto him as I'm still on top of him and kind of go around him, get into the crack of his ass. Sometimes he'll do this stomp, which does have a lingering hitbox. You have to be quite careful. Later on in his alternate forms, they still have that lingering hitbox, so you have to wait just a minute when he does that charge. So you'll make short work of this guy, just roll past his attacks, and you'll get a humanity and the Pilgrim's Key. Now I'm going to pop a humanity immediately here, and you'll see why in a minute. Reason being is we need to be human soon in the Catacombs to summon an NPC that we're going to summon to help us with Pinwheel. We are going directly into the Catacombs from the get-go before we do anything. We're going to pick up a few items in Firelink, and then we're headed straight into the Catacombs. Now the reason I want to go to the Catacombs right away is two reasons. You get the Rite of Kindling, of course, which will allow you to have 20 Estus instead of 5, and you'll also get the Silver Serpent Ring, which I like to get very early because it gives me more souls. I want to get the most bang for my buck when I'm playing this game. So from the get-go, do a 180, get the humanity. This will put you at, I believe, 4. Well, yeah, 4 because you just put the 1 in your soft humanity there. You want the fire bombs for sure. You'll use those later against those pesky rats. Oh, those rats are a pain in the ass early on when I don't have the right weaponry. We're not going to deal with Petrus here. We're just going to ignore his fat ass for now. Now, there is a soul item up to the right there, but we're going to go that way anyway later on. So we're not going to worry about that. And remember, I'm not picking up everything, just what I need. So there's homeward bones here. The chest right next to it has a talisman and a morning star, which we're not going to use in this playthrough. But we do want this. This is the cracked red orb. Now, we're not going to be doing any invasions, but we can trade this item to Snuggly the Crow later for a purging stone, which will cause you less stress if you get cursed. For the graveyard, I like to just run and pick up this soul real quick. And I'm going to do something a little crazy here. I want the binoculars because they're going to be what I use with my crossbow to aim. And yes, it's kind of dangerous to do this early on. Sometimes I just do it after I come out of the catacombs, but since it's early on, we're just going to go ahead and try to get up to the left here. And they really can't get you right here. It's kind of your safe path. So you just want to get through here. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now there's going to be a trick that you're going to utilize a couple times in this game called the quit out. So we're going to be running past all these skeletons, and they will follow us. Well, not those particularly, but the ones right here coming down in here. You want to stay kind of to the left, right here by the stairs, and kind of lure the skeleton to that left side, so you'll have room to run off to the right. There's another skeleton there that's going to follow us, but we're going to run past him. The other ones are going to spawn, and we're just going to keep running. And another 2 here. Well, we're not worried about them, but we want to go just about right here and quit out. And we're going to respawn the skeletons into their original positions. And all we're going to have to deal with is the Necromancer. Just run up to him. Now, when he rears his elbow like that, that's when he's about to do his fire attack. And you can just wait until he does it. This will help you preserve your stamina and just basically stun lock him. He can't do anything. And once he's dead, sometimes he drops his skull lantern, which we'll never get that lucky to get it early on drop. We want to make sure we push this in to open the door. Obviously we can't go anywhere without that. Now that humanity that I popped earlier, we're going to use it now. And we're going to level up some stats. We're going to level up our vitality to 14. It's basically all we can do right now. And we're going to reverse our hollowing to become human. Becoming human here will allow us to summon the most powerful NPC in the entire game for boss fights. But ironically, we're going to be fighting one of the easiest bosses in the game, but using one of the strongest NPCs in the game. So it's kind of, I guess it's balanced out in a way. Now I'm popping another humanity here to kindle the fire so I can get 10 Estus. Early on, especially with all the drops we're fixing to do, we're going to need that extra Estus to make our lives a little bit easier. I have done it with 5, but it's cutting it close, let's just put it that way. So what you want to do, it's kind of particular here, you got to be very careful. I've got this mapped out to a science. Basically, you want this first skeleton to commit to you, just roll past him. Now right here, those pots on the left, you want to aim for those and then go right between the other one, with the 2 skeletons there. And now stand right here and watch the skeleton. Make sure this one, sometimes they will get bored and want to not jump off until that pot is smashed. But you want to jump off here, go into this area here. There will be more skeletons, so you want to be careful of the skulls as well. Now drop off right here. Now sometimes the skeletons will fall from above, but hurry up and summon your Paladin Leroy. And just be wary of the skeletons. They're going to be kind of hard to kill early on here. Now, I try to get this. Sometimes I fail, and I think I failed here. Yeah. That's going to be our Indiana Jones pants, but we can't get them just yet. They're actually the holy relic. Was it this? I'm not sure forget what it's called, but the cleric pants or something. Now these bone wheel skeletons are a major pain in the ass, but Leroy will make short work of them if he ever gets engaged with them. Sometimes it looks like he's going to die, but he always heals himself. If it gets too hairy, you can go through the fog wall, but don't go towards Pinwheel just yet. Sometimes you have to wait for Leroy to kill them all. And sometimes it takes a while, but you just got to be patient. Here he is. Now, he's still not going to be satisfied. He wants to kill him, so... But it's good for you because you get extra souls, too. Sometimes he'll just run at the fog wall until he's satisfied. See, as he's doing right now. Well, he's not going to kill him today, so... Now, you're going to lose a little bit of health dropping off, so... What you want to do in this fight is... I know it sounds crazy, but don't go for the real one. Go for the fake ones. Because Leroy will get interested in the fake ones. You want to make sure he is going to be zeroed in on the real one. Because all it takes is like one or two hits, and he's dead with if Paladin hits him. If Leroy hits him here. So take out the fake ones. And if there's none on the screen, then go for it. But you want to make sure you're focused on all the fake ones. Because once, like I say, once he hits him, it's going to be a ton of health gone from Pinwheel, and it'll be over. There, it's already over. See, easy peasy. You now have the right of kindling this early in the game, which is amazing. And humanity, which we're trying to stock up for later. For our item discovery, you want to have at least 10 for item discovery. Whenever you're farming, you always want to have 10 humanity because that's when it gives you a maximum item discovery. Of course, you can stack that with the gold serpent ring, which we don't have yet. Later on, we will. Now, what you want to do here, we want to pick up this soul item. Being in the catacombs this early, the soul item is going to be worth quite a lot. Especially, like I say, this early. You're not expected to come down here this early on. So the soul item is going to be worth a little bit more than what you would get if you were in the Undead Burg or something. Now, you could go on and get this silver serpent ring, which we are going to do. However, it's just too damn hard to see in the dark, especially when you get through the first fog wall up here. I have memorized how to get through this without a lantern. However, we are going to get the lantern and then we're going to homeward bone back and then come back and do this again. And this is the safest way to do it. I just don't see the risk. I mean, it's not worth the risk losing 15,000 souls that you just got from Pinwheel. That's a lot early on, so what you want to do is go straight to where Patches will kick you off and just run towards the light here. You don't have to talk to him, just let him kick you. Now you're going to get a few more good items here. Another soul item, but more importantly, the skull lantern, which you desperately need to get through this next part. It'll make it a lot easier, let's put it that way. Now homeward bone back to the bonfire, and we're going to spend our souls. No risk in losing them. Generally, when you get a bunch of souls, you want to use them. Because it's just not worth risking losing them, and even if you have to ring a sacrifice, you don't want to waste that either. So, same thing as before. We're just going to pretty much repeat what we did last time, but this time we're going to go for our Indiana Jones pants, or the cleric robe pants, whatever the hell they're called. I don't even remember. But they are going to be the pants that we wear through this playthrough, the entire playthrough. It's the closest thing I could find to an Indiana Jones piece. I tried really hard to get it as accurate as possible, but this is the only color I could find that was accurate. Of course, we're aesthetic here. We're not looking for armor protection in this regard. You got to be very careful going off this cliff. Like, just inch your way. As you can see, I fell earlier. So the holy trousers, that's what they're called. So you want to go ahead. I'm going to put those on. That's going to be our new set. Now, we're not going to be getting our full set of Indiana Jones equipment for quite a while into the game, because one of the items is tucked away in the Artorias DLC, which we're not going to get that until we get the Lord Vessel. So, yeah, that's going to be a while. But as soon as we get the Lord Vessel, we're going to go into the DLC and get it. So now we have the lantern, which is going to make our lives significantly easier in the dark here. It is pretty easy to memorize this area. As you can see, I went through it earlier without it. But the second area we're going through, it's very dangerous to try it without a light source. Especially because you're going to have a Black Knight, you're going to have the dog skeletons, and you're going to have another archer skeleton giant. They're all going to be after you at the same time, and it's just, you want to know where the hell you're going, basically. I like to try to talk to him here. I never kill this guy because he's a good merchant later on. But right here, you want to stick to this wall. He won't get you if you do that, but he will follow. So he is going to be on your tail. You want to stick to the far left as much as you can here. You're basically trying to get right here, and you want to drop off. Make sure you have your Homeward Bone already equipped, because as soon as you pick this item up, you're going to Homeward Bone out immediately before anything can kill you. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you die. You'll just lose you'll lose your humanity, but you'll have to pop another one if you want to become human. But right here, this part is a kind of pain in the ass to do. It's kind of random. I used the firebomb here for this one annoying ass skeleton that likes to block the way. It's the first skeleton you came to when you came down into the catacombs. He's blocking your path. You're going to have all these skeletons following behind you. So what I like to do is throw one at him, throw a firebomb at him. This will make him kind of go down a little bit. And I was able to get past him here, but it's just a pain in the ass if you don't have something. Now, since we got the binoculars earlier, we don't need to go back through the graveyard for anything. We're not getting this Y handler or anything like that. So we just want to make our way to the bonfire. But before we do that, we're going to pick up another soul item. It's not going to be worth a lot, but we're going to pick them up along the way anyway. Those skeletons don't respawn, luckily. Only the ones in the catacombs with the Necromancers. Right here is a little bit of a hidden area with the soul item here. I want to stick close to the wall here, short wall. Now sometimes the skeletons will follow you, and you'll have to go despawn, make your fire light back up. So now that we have done the catacombs, we are going to get our next item, which is a ring. It's going to be the red tearstone ring. This ring is dangerous to use. However, man, can it demoralize a boss so quickly. But it's risky to use because you have to be very low health to use it. So it's basically you're a glass cannon. But I like doing this for a few bosses or a few enemies. Now I like to always make this elevator go back up, because if you die, at least you don't have to crank it back up again. Item here. Now we're not going to get the Firekeeper soul that's in Yolando right now, but we are going to use the master key here to open this door, and there's a soul item here. We're not going into Blighttown yet. Like I said, we're going for the red tearstone ring. And there's a humanity up here, which is kind of risky to get. Sometimes I don't go for it, but in this case I did go for it. You will get hit a few times. But since we leveled up our vitality quite a bit already with all the souls that we got, we can afford to take a few hits. But if you get stunned by the lightning, you can get chain stunned and it's over. But just be careful. But I like to get as much humanity early on as I can, because humanity is really valuable in this game, and you really don't want to farm for it because it takes forever to kill rats and stuff like that, so try to use it very sparingly. This dragon here is the one that's guarding the humanity. Now he's right in front of the cave you want to go into. Just kind of run past him, pick it up as fast as you can, and then just try to jump out, but sometimes you don't get hit, sometimes you do. Luckily, I didn't get hit that time. You don't want to go to the left just yet. Always, always go for the bonfire, because it's pretty much a dead end there once you get up there, because they're going to congregate at the bottom of the stairs, and unless you have a homeward bone, you're not going to be able to escape with your life. Sure, you could plunge attack them, but you won't survive usually. After you plunge attack them, they're usually all going to gangbang you. So it's just not worth the risk. And that's going to conclude part 1 of the series. See you guys in part 2.